Good morning, friends and colleagues of the MICE industry. I'm Madhu Dubey, Executive Director at ICPB. It is my privilege to welcome the esteemed panel moderator, Mr. Amresh Tiwari, Vice Chairman, ICPB, Mr. Rupinder Rar, Additional Director General, Tourism, Ministry of Tourism, Mr. Girish Quatra, joining shortly, Honorary Secretary, ICPB, Dr. Ishwar Gilada, President, AIDS Society of India, Dr. Dhananjay Singh, Director General, National HRD Network, and all participants who have joined from across the world and from all regions of India. I take this opportunity also to wish you all a very happy Global Meetings Industry Day. That's how 8th of April is celebrated in the industry. And this webinar has been organized to celebrate this day, wishing for an early revival of the industry. Now, may I request Mr. Amresh Tiwari to take over for commencement of this session that we're all looking forward to hearing the perspective of the esteemed panelists. Over to you, Mr. Tiwari.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining Global Meeting Industry Day session, Meet in India, India as a MICE destination. As you all know, MICE is an important industry segment of tourism, but Indian MICE has less than 1% share in the estimated global MICE business, which is around $800 billion, despite the natural and cultural advantage of India and is one of the highest growing economies. This session will focus on the strategies and action required to develop India as an important MICE destination. What are the key factors contributing to the success and growth of the MICE industry? And where do we stand in infrastructure, including accommodation and venues, connectivity, accessibilities, service providers, skilled human resources, and what more need to be done? This session will also look at how can the government and industry work together to create synergy for conducive growth of MICE industry in India. Tourism was the first sector hit by the pandemic and will be the last to recover, while domestic leisure tourism shows green shoot of recovery with the emergence of revenge travel, business travels remain low. MICE segment post-COVID is expected to see a shift moving away from interpersonal interaction. This segment has quickly adopted to technology and moved to hybrid events, which has resulted in some form of continuance. While one may believe that the segment will undergo complete change, we expect that traditional form of MICE events will eventually lead to recovery of this sector. Today, we are having our esteemed panelists, Ms. Rupinder Rar, Additional Director General, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, Dr. Ishwar Gilada, President, AIDS Society of India, Mr. Dhananjay Singh, Director General, National HRD Network, and Mr. Girish Quatra, Honorary Secretary, ICPB, and Ms. Madhu Dubey, Executive Director, ICPB. So I'll open the floor with Ms. Rupinder Rar, Additional Director General. Ma'am, despite so much of an effort in working the government, tourism forex earning is not targeted and treated at par with the exports. Consumption by a foreign MICE within India should not be taxed. How should that go about to be corrected? My second question, with multiple activities to be done simultaneously, what should be our stepwise restart plan between center and state for MICE tourism? What should be the step taken by India to enhance its competitiveness and position India as a key MICE destination? You recently start Meet in India as a sub-brand of Incredible India. Can India establish as MICE destination on the World MICE map, and how it need to be done? How are we going to launch a program such as Meet in India, marketing and program, and outreach program to industry leaders, which can get business to India and at the same time create visibility for ICPB at nationally and globally? Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Amresh, and thank you, ICPB, for having me on this session. And indeed, I think interesting times, challenging times, but also times when one can look at India particularly positioning itself at a cusp moment, and therefore at a time in history for India where we are moving forward at a very rapid pace. But then how really to leverage on what all are our strengths as a country as we get into the 75th year of an independent India. I think so. I would congratulate ICPB for taking up this session, because we all do need to work together in leveraging the strengths that we have as a country. Now, Amrish, I will come back to your specific questions after just making a couple of observations first as to where do opportunities lie, and also where are we in terms of the MICE segment of tourism, and where do we see ourselves going in future, and what should be our roadmap as we look at current situation. As you rightly said, India only at about 1%, and clearly that's not how we would want it to be. And so what is it that we need to do? You've already spelled some questions, and I will try and address them as well as I can. But just to give a perspective, and just for all of you, you are part of MICE, so you know these facts perhaps more than me, that currently about 37,000 odd crores is what we are netting in terms of income from the MICE segment. And while it sounds like a large figure, but as you have already said, if we see it in the global perspective, it's actually a very small component. So no reason for us to therefore sit back and feel happy that this is just it. No, clearly we need to do more. Now, what is it that are we at as a country? And can we turn those into our strength areas? I think one of the important
Hello. Ma'am, we lost your voice. Madhuji?
I'll call their office.
I think technology have its role to play in each of these hybrid events or the virtual events. Can you check in? Otherwise, we can move on. Sorry for this inconvenience. He's joining in 1 minute.
Perfectly fine, Amrish ji.
In fact, I also logged in from the two system to. So I think by the time he's joining, so we can continue this thing. Madhuji, have you spoken to her? Madhuji, are you online? So by the time she joins, so let me put the another panelist and ask the question. So we are having with us Dr. Dhananjay Singh, Director General, National HRD Network. Mr. Singh, as a global buyer, you yourself a global buyer, doing the events globally. As a global buyer or destination for events, what do you find are the strengths that Indian MICE has in aspects of branding infrastructure and pricing versus those of other destination and countries? My second question is, how ready and competitive do you find Indian PCOs versus their global counterparts? What do you think need to be done at a state level and at the country level to make them truly international standard MICE destination? How we can retain the fast growing outbound MICE business, bring them back to India? Mr. Singh.
Thank you, Amrishi. Rupinder ji is here now. I can see her video. So
Okay.
let her share because she was sharing her perspective.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I request her to carry on. And meanwhile, as I hand over to her, I will say that wish all of you a very, very happy global meeting.
I think Ms. Paraj joined. Ms. Paraj joined. Yeah, Rupinder ji. Rupinder ji, are you having the connection now?
Join the किया है, but it's,
I
think she can, Dhananjay ji, if you can continue and...
No problem. I can continue, no problem. So, first of all, Amrish ji, I must compliment all of you, ICPB in particular, for organizing this. I was really fortunate to be there with all of you at Khajuraho also when you all had done the event recently. So I think I can see Rupinder ji back. So
I'm going to try and join from my phone because there seems to be some issue on the system.
No problems. Please go ahead, Rupinder ji. Please go ahead.
I think I'm audible now. So I don't know how clear is the voice or the picture, but
clear. Yeah.
Very
clear.
clear.
Great. So extremely sorry about that, but that also tells us the limitations of technology and how important it is to do physical events, I think. But coming back to where I was in terms of the infrastructure strength that we have witnessed in India, and it's an ongoing process. In fact, if we look at the budget allocations that happened for the current year also, a huge thrust coming up on roads, on airports, on connectivity. And we definitely, therefore, when I say that we in India are at a cusp and we look forward to times when we can really scale up MICE particularly, which requires that kind of large infra support, I think it's time for us to truly gear towards that. If I look at the process part of it, and in terms of the visas, in terms of the e-visas, of course, currently we are at a scenario where visas have not opened back, but more perhaps needs to be done in terms of facilitation, in terms of easing the visa process for people to come in. And I think that's an area where we should work more closely together so that by the time India actually truly opens up in the post-pandemic times, then how do we look and sell ourselves as a country which is really going to make it easy for people to come to. The third area of work which we are doing, but again, I would sense that we need to do more. You are looking at us adopting MICE as an important segment of the global media plan. In fact, Madhuji is a part of the whole process that undergoes where we select platforms, where we actually look at content and what kind of content should go to which country, looking at the kind of interest that that country has in India. But I think on promotion front also is something we definitely need to work more on, because that's where the linkages that are available in India, but how to carry that story of an India which is truly coming together as a nation with large infra
And when we talk of infra, I've already mentioned airports and roads, but then also looking at the more tourism related infra. We were with all of you, ICPB had come with us to Khajuraho. And it was an eye opener because in a place like Khajuraho, the kind of convention center that has come up with a capacity of 1,200 and the location needing only and only flight connectivity. So things like that are happening, but how to really carry that entire narrative to the right markets is, I think, an important part of the promotional story as we go forward. The other things which we can look at our strengths, but of course cannot sit back and assume that as our strengths, is a very young population. And when we are looking at large events and the kind of workforce that is potentially employed in any MICE event, I think that's another area where we as a country are really strong. The middle class becoming extremely aspirational, stepping out and doing jobs which are relatively more unorthodox now. And I think that's an area of great potential. And within the young workforce which India has, again, two clear benefits. One, a large part of us being an English-speaking workforce, and also gradual learning of other languages picking up as an interest. And the other part of it is the women, the girls that are stepping out, and there is far less regression, let us say, on the number of girls that are able to step out and come and be a part of the workforce that facilitates and enables a good MICE event to happen. I think and that's an area we really need to create more strength on and keep working to make sure that this young dividend, the demographic dividend that India has, how to really leverage that and provide an important capacity building support to the entire segment. Now, Amresh, you have particularly asked about the treatment for the forex earnings from the MICE and why it should not be treated at par with exports. As a ministry, as an individual, as an ADG in the ministry, I would say yes, absolutely. And that is something we must take up at the highest levels if so required, because if we are looking at what the government is targeting, and post-pandemic, maybe there might be a little delay in those targets being met, but we are looking at reaching about a 2% of the global markets as far as MICE goes. And if we have that kind of a potential being created through MICE, then we see no reason why, if we carry the narrative to the Ministry of Commerce and the Ministry of Finance as to why should this segment also not be treated as an export. Clearly, a little more work needs to be done, but there is an absolute validity in the demand, because what are we really taking out and what are we really selling the moment somebody is coming into India in terms of an experience using the resources of this country and creating foreign exchange. I think we definitely should push this. There is no debate in the ministry on that. You have asked, your other question is around that what kind of multiple activities should we be doing, particularly creating the linkages, the correct linkages between the center and the states. Because in India, where we are organized as states and where tourism actually happens at the state level, it's extremely important that the larger policy strategy, the larger concept strategy and the outreach that we are trying to create for India as a country that is truly enabled and is having the right infrastructure for MICE, then, but actually the delivery being happening at the state level, I think extremely important for us to have those right linkages. And I'll go back to the example that we had recently of being in Khajuraho on how much the coordination for even an event, which was actually just an event which allowed us to bring forth this infra. It was not actually a MICE event per se. And how the linkage and the close coordination that existed between the center and the state itself is an example on how any such large event can be a success only if the strategic thought of the center actually gets delivered at the ground level. Because at the ground level are all those capacities which we are going to need, the workforce that needs to happen, the various support systems that need to be created, maybe in the form of local hotels, maybe in form of logistics, maybe in terms of also creating those itineraries, because when you are calling in people from various countries for MICE, you don't just bring them from the airport and take them into a convention center, but you actually enable the neighboring environment also suitable for tourism. And that's where the potential for India clearly lies in a big manner, where we look at pleasure, MICE, adding the local attractions as part of choosing a destination. Because when somebody is traveling into another country, then you are not just coming to attend a meeting, you're actually coming to experience that place. And what you're going to carry back also, apart from the convention, apart from the meeting, apart from the event that you attended, but an entire takeaway of a country, an entire essence of what that country really means. So what kind of food, what kind of service, what kind of hospitality. I think those are great opportunities for India. But also the sense that we get is that a lot more needs to be done in terms of creating the right ambience and creating that right atmosphere where somebody has an option of going to country A, B, C, but chooses India as a country where the return on your investment, so to say, is going to be maximized. And in that, I would also therefore urge upon all of you that you and I, as I look at ourselves as a ministry, must work at making ourselves competitive. And when we say competitive, it is not necessarily about reducing costs, but it is about, if I'm putting an X amount of money into an event in India, then in its entirety, what is it going to be as a takeaway for whoever comes in? I think that's an important part where we do need to work, because in the post-pandemic times, particularly as we look at companies looking at the bottom lines, in a sense, getting an opportunity of now creating online events and also creating hybrid events, we could be potentially looking at a situation where physical events might take a little longer to come back. And when they do, we are going to be in an extremely competitive zone globally. So what is it that we should be doing in the interim for somebody to actually choose India as a destination is, I think, a challenge that we all need to work together on. And in terms of competitiveness and position, as I've already mentioned, I think the entire leveraging of the hard infrastructure and the soft infrastructure is what will make us truly competitive. And that's something we must therefore work on. Yes, on the Meet in India as a sub-brand of Incredible India, branding always helps, and we need to do more events. It might be, for now, it could be events that are more domestic, but I think the narrative needs to be built up, and in the content that we create for the promotion, both at the domestic as well as at the international levels, and hopefully in the months to come, things will ease out as the vaccination drive picks up around the world. We should definitely be able to carry this as a brand, because it creates, the moment you read the words, and I must congratulate the team of ICPB for having picked the words Meet in India. It is very straight. It conveys exactly what it wants to convey. It has the potential of giving that sense of professional comfort to anybody who's looking at it. Meet in India. There is a certain sense of brand in that, and we must definitely build this into a brand, and we'll be more than happy to work with ICPB in putting out on social media for now, and also later putting it out on the different platforms of digital as well as the television medium and the print medium, to create this brand value so that India truly gets recognized as a country that is fully prepared in various elements when it comes to organizing events around MICE. So those are some of my preliminary thoughts. One can go on, but I'd be happy to take questions towards the end. And also, we'll be very happy to hear from all of you suggestions as to where all do you feel at this juncture we should really be stepping in as a government, as a ministry, both at the central as well as at the states level. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rupenderji. Thank you very much. In fact, as you rightly saying, that when the government and the private sector work together, so result comes. We had seen this in the Khajuraho when we launched the Meet in India concept. I'm happy to share, within our Khajuraho destination, within 5 days, Railway said they are starting the Gatiman Express to the Jhansi, which is the super fast train. In Air India also announced they are starting the flight soon to the Khajuraho. And that is the power of MICE, which need when both the government and private sector work together. So we can change the destinations, whole the dynamics can be changed. And that's the power of MICE. And with this, may I invite Mr. Dhananjay Singh. So please share your views how we can retain this fast going outbound MICE back to India, and how ready and competitive do you find Indian PCOs versus their global counterparts? So what do you think when you organize your largest conferences in India? So what kind of state level and national level support you think is make it truly international standardized destination? Over to you, Dhananjay ji.
Thank you, Amresh ji. Welcome, Ishwar Prasad ji. And it was a pleasure listening to Rupinder ji today also, and the other day at Khajuraho at the program. And I must say that, again, first of all, those who have just joined, very happy Global Meetings Industry Day to all of you. And ICPB, the way you all are taking so much of interest in making our country competitive as far as making India as a MICE destination, I'm sure this will take us far. And at the same point in time, I would like to say that we have been through, all of us across the globe, we have been through a very tough time. And that's the way human race has endured what is ahead of us and what we have seen. But what lies ahead of us, and to make India as a MICE destination, there is a lot of potential in the country, and a lot of things can be done. Your specific question, which you asked about as a global buyer of destinations, what strength do we find in India? Amresh, a lot of strength is there in our country. And many of the programs when we do abroad, whether it is Americas or it is in Japan or in China or in Australia, India as a MICE destination, we have a lot to offer. So I would say, if I put a criteria of potential, India has a lot to offer in that story. When it comes to the current scenario which is there, the infrastructure which Rupinder ji also talked about, a place like Khajuraho, when all of us were there, what if air connectivity is provided?
Yeah, Dhananjay ji.
Yeah, so we need to work on, and there is a scope for improvement there, and state government, union government, private sector, agencies, there is a lot which can be done. A lot has been done in that area, but still a lot can be done. Now, when the second part of your question, which you asked, is how ready and competitive we are. Individuals are very competitive despite all the challenges. Each one of you who have joined here as participants, despite all the odds, you all are doing what you all are doing. And whatever India, the reputation which India has got in terms of good tourism, whatever good reviews you see all over on the web, it is because of the entrepreneurship which all of you put forward, put on the table, and put on the ground in spirit. So there also I would say that collaboration is the key, and collaboration in sense where what we can do as an individual, what we can do as entrepreneurs, once we will add that strength to the rich culture and heritage of the local sites which are there across the country, India, with the support of government as far as the policy and wherever handholding is required, I am sure a lot more than there also. So that's my take on the second question we have. question which you asked is about how the fast growing outbound mice will come back. That, Amresh, will depend a lot on how we are able to put forth our positioning, our thought process, that we are a safe place. Because that's the first psychological barrier which any one of us and an individual or institution will face is, am I safe if I'm traveling to XYZ place? So that is something which must come clear, loud and clear in our advertisements, in our approach, in our look and feel of the place. And whenever, whatever communications on social media we are doing, that is something which will give us a very, very clear spot to us that, okay, this is a place where you can go safely. Now, in 9+ crore people have been vaccinated in India. We are supporting 92 countries of the world as far as the vaccination drive is concerned through various programs. That has given a very strong footing to us, to our motherland, to this country, that we are doing a lot to create a safe globe. So Amreshji, once we can handle this part of the psychological safety of people who will come and will do initiatives in country, that will be the first thing to hit. Now, once we have done that, then it will come that what all can be done which will facilitate, and I'm putting my thoughts here in two baskets. One is when we're talking about the institutional buyers, and second is the individual buyers. At both ends, clearly there is a pent-up demand. There is a need, and that need is a very human need to go out and visit places. And the only way you cannot have your relatives and friends across. Tourism is the only possible way which you can leverage and go. So as an institutional buyer, I would say that a lot has been done, but with some further focus, particularly when we are talking about India as a MICE destination, a lot of revenues can come from abroad, which can come to our country. And I can tell you on behalf of the corporate side of this tourism, everybody is looking forward to the opportunity. If they know that they are safe, they would love to travel. For the first time I went out because of this Khajuraho event, because I was sure that if Government of India is doing it, if ICPB is doing it, I'm safe. And that is not the story of which I am sharing. That is the story of any individual. So at this juncture, I will stop here. If there are any other specific questions, I will be happy to share and interact from the audience. To summarize, I would say, as a country, as our motherland, there is a lot which has been done, number one. Number two, there is a lot which is being done, and there is a lot which needs to be done, particularly in the field of infrastructure, particularly in the field of capacity building. There is a wide space available in which we can work together. Second point I said is, when we are talking about India as a MICE destination, we have a huge potential. We are very, very cost effective. In terms of service delivery, we are second to none in the world. What we require is only the training and development of people involved there. Fourth, which I talked about, is the collaborative approach, which is of the MICE destination, the entrepreneurs who are there, the state government and the union government, and how together we can co-create something which is valuable for the people who are going to visit those places. So here for now, I'll stop and hand over back to the organizers.
Thank you, Dhananjay. Thank you very much for sharing your thought that this psychological safety, and let's talk about the effective communication that need to be the need of the hour. And now we have one of our esteemed panelists, Dr. Ishwar Gelada. Dr. Ishwar Gelada is the President, AIDS Society of India. Dr. Gelada, Where is India placed in terms of MICE versus other destinations like Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, South Korea, China, etc.? In terms of perception, destination choice, safety, sanitization, and overall appeal. Pre-COVID, out of 17 million foreign students arrival, around 11 million were classified tourists. With much lesser proportion of association and corporate set to travel, how do you think India should increase their share of MICE business? What is the mood of investment in global medical association offices, either strategic or financial, in terms of organizing large medical conferences as before? New investment like IICC at Dwarka, Pragati Maidan, Khajuraho Geo Convention Center in Mumbai, are they going to make any changes in medical conference dynamics? Dr. Gelada, over to you.
Thank you very much for inviting me here. And lot of challenges are posed to me, a lot of questions are posed to me in your brief introduction. I don't know how much I'll be able to deliver. I'm like a non-political turncoat. You must have seen me 5 minutes before. I was wearing a medical coat, doctor's coat, and now I'm wearing a MICE coat.
Thank you, Doctor.
I admire ICPB for the courage that midst of pandemic of COVID, they dared to organize such a successful event. And that's the reason that I like ICPB and the entire team of ICPB. They are like me. I always dare and start something new. Secondly, I'm an admirer of Mrs. Rupinder Brar, such an outspoken person, and she speaks from heart. I had never seen a government official speaking so much extrovert what they would like to do. Now, looking at the entire industry everywhere, when you look from the point of view of COVID-19, the 2H industry, either hospital industry, including hospitals and medical caregivers, and hospital industries, they are the two very clean industries. Currently, they are totally COVID appropriate behavior industries. Somehow one H has prospered, the hospitals are prospering, and the other H has been totally at loss. Now, why it is so? Because we are not able to create that kind of atmosphere to show to the world that look, because I myself tried staying in a couple of hotels in Mumbai, and I found that those hotels, to stay in that hotel despite being in Mumbai, is safer than my home and my clinic. So we should create that kind of atmosphere that the hospitality industry is providing MICE activity. It is a COVID-free facility. It is COVID-appropriate behavior facility, and that we are not able to generate. Secondly, while thinking of having bigger meetings and conferences, at present, the mode of medical industry, medical association, is good to go in the nearby places or in India. They currently don't want to go abroad because everybody is uncertain about what policy could be there. Either you go there, you book your tickets, and suddenly they decide some policy of quarantine or something. Or when you come back to your own country and then you are always in midst of deciding whether you should be doing RT-PCR on arrival or you should be quarantined after arrival for 8 days or not. So that uncertainty tells that it's better to be nearby, maybe in your own state, and then in the states where there are no much restrictions. Like for even going to Khajuraho, just because I'm going through Delhi, I needed to go through RT-PCR. So, and people are not able to understand that RT-PCR is a foolish test. It decides only your 8 to 10 days of infectivity. It doesn't say anything what is in the offing. Secondly, there are 30% false negativity. And if you do doing antigen, 50% false negativity. So what should have been done is there are two important things. One is vaccine certificate. Those who have been vaccinated and having 2 vaccines taken, 2 weeks post that, if you have a vaccination certificate, you are allowed anywhere. And that will be also incentive for vaccination. Otherwise, there's a lot of vaccine hesitancy. And number 2, rather than insisting on RT-PCR test, insist on antibody test. If somebody is COVID antibody positive, that means that person has already suffered from COVID, develop antibodies. Antibodies may stay for a couple of months or more. That person cannot get COVID from anybody else. That person cannot give COVID to anybody else. But somehow, my appeal to Honorable Prime Minister, Health Ministry, they are falling on deaf ears. They are not going across. But mice industry can use this, that anybody who is coming to the mice with these two things, they are not to go through RT-PCR, etc. Then utilizing our large facilities. I have myself seen Geo Convention Center in Mumbai. It is fabulous. Means it can be comparable to any best facility in the world. Probably it is better than any best facility in the world, looking at all proximity, all facilities, underground facilities, shopping mall, everything in the same complex. But somehow COVID came in between and it has never seen the light of the day. So we need to promote them. But I have been trying to get international convention of particularly HIV/AIDS to India. There are two types of conventions. One is a general international AIDS conference, which is of even year, that attracts 15 to 20,000 delegates. And odd year, that is a scientific conference that invites almost 7,000 people for the conference, and they are mainly medical. Now, to get a letter from ministry, to get a letter from nodal ministry like health ministry, it is a hell of a job, and they don't want to commit that they will spend something on it. Only thing I have been always successful in getting letter is from Ministry of Tourism, and that too thanks to Girish Quatra. So anytime I have been bidding, I just ask Girish, and Girish within a day or two gets either letter from minister or ministry or secretary. So that helps. But somehow it falls on wrong side over there when we negotiate, because our government doesn't commit that we'll waive off this thing, we'll spend something, or we'll give free visa. You have to give some incentive, and that therefore it is called a mice industry. But the things have to change now in the light of COVID. Lastly, I would like to tell that our people are not able to understand properly what is COVID. Our people, they do not know how to project our country. If our country is a population of 140 crore people, which is number 2 in the world, any problem, any disease, any infection will be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So there is no rocket science to understand that. What we need to tell people that don't go by numbers, go by infected people per million population or number of deaths per million population. You know, in a rank of 220 countries, India ranks at 119th country in the rank of infection per million. So though in total number we are number 2, infection per million we are 119, and deaths per million we are 125. Where are we? But our people don't understand. Sometimes I think that they want to do a COVID business. I know to project India is very big COVID problem. It is not a big problem. Yes, Maharashtra is a bigger problem because Maharashtra has 8.8% of country's population, and infection are 24% of country's infection. So 3 times more than the national average. But Maharashtra is being followed by other states. So just focusing on Maharashtra is not going to be a solution. You look at Chhattisgarh, such a smaller state, they are reported 11,000 cases yesterday. Your neighboring states of Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, they are reporting high cases. You look at election-bound states, every 2 days, 3 days, they are doubling cases. You look at UP and Bihar, most populous states, on 10th of March, UP reported only 121 cases. Yesterday, 6,000 plus cases. So 50 times jump in just 25 days. Bihar, 44 cases on 10th of March. Yesterday, 1,500 cases. So 35 times jump in just 25 days. So everywhere this problem is going to be there. But if there is a problem, there is a solution. India has solution for everything. India has Remdesivir. There are 6 companies making, and we can make it. There is black marketing happening currently in Maharashtra, but our government of India is not coming out of the policy of compulsory license. You issue a compulsory license, hell with any kind of Gilead monopoly on the drug. There 10, 15 industries will come, and the drug can be sold at 500 rupees. Currently, it is at 5,800 rupees. Similarly, we have vaccines. India is meeting the 60% of the world's vaccine supply for everything. And in COVID also, it can meet 60 to 80% of vaccine supply. But there are 4 or 5 vaccine applications pending. We do not know. There is no transparency of when the vaccine application will be heard, when they will be decided. Unless and until more vaccines come, there will not be level playing, and there will be a monopoly of Serum Institute. And today morning I read the arm twisting already started. That fellow is asking 3,000 crore from government of India for ramping up vaccination production. So if you don't have other vaccines available which are licensed, then this is going to happen. So we need to look at all those issues. Mice industry has suffered a major onslaught. With second surge is the second bigger onslaught, but you need to come out. You need to have kind of brainstorming session. I will be happy to organize any kind of meeting with you people, with 15 associations of medical organizations, of which I'm a Secretary General called Organized Medicine Academic Guild. And if I was not a doctor, I would have been in hospitality industry. I love hospitality industry, and India has been known for malish to polish. So we have seen hospitality everywhere, but no one can match India in hospitality. I don't know why we fail to attract a lot of people from other countries to India for MICE industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Gilada, for the proposing for this vaccine passport, which I think is a need of the hour, and I think that's very much required. And now, since Madhu Dubey is here, she is Executive Director ICPB. And Madhu, I'm asking the question to you: कि Indian PCO need bidding support to bid for international events. One option is bidding support fund from the government that we have asked for in India as an ICPB. And how are PCO supported internationally in other countries as you have studied? My second question to you is, how are you assessing the status of PCO around the world? What are the revival relations for Indian PCOs? And how do Global Trade Buyer Association view Indian MICE sector? What are the relations from Indian policy from that? Over to you, Madhuji. Madhuji, are you online? I think today we are losing lots of connection across India. So let me take the questions first. If we are not, Madhu, are you online?
She was there, but now she can't.
So let me ask the question first. Rupinder ji, you are since here, and few other question has come, so let me ask the question. And one question from Mr. Pranav Sarkar. We are not very far from opening up the visas and tourism activities to show India is a safe destination. First, all tourism workers need to be vaccinated out of turn so that we can assure the visitor that in India, service providers are vaccinated and safe to service the visitors under SOPs in place. How seriously MOT is taking up the matter with Ministry of Health?
Thanks, Amresh. I think that's a very, very important part that we see ourselves playing at. And in fact, at the minister level, a letter has already been written. But clearly, we need to follow it up. In fact, it came up as a discussion with the Health Ministry last week also. And we will be sending a reminder maybe today or tomorrow. But we will also be looking at all of you, because that's a meeting which I'm hoping to have next week, is how to really go about it. Should we send it out as a notice to the different entities? Should we send it out as an association? So the actual working of it in terms of the logistics will need to be worked on. The moment we get a little more proactive response from health, we should be pushing it. So MOT is taking it up very seriously, and so is health.
Thank you, ma'am. And second question is from Mr. Balakrishna Bagalkot to Dr. Ishwar Gilada. India is known for ideal destination for medical tourism. Based on this, what are your advice for MICE industry? Dr. Gilada.
I think MICE industry has to walk 1 mile extra and provide some incentives. When you provide incentive, people will come automatically. MICE industry will make business, country will make business. Sometimes it may happen that it may be break even, but once our destinations become popular, there will be more and more people coming. There is no dearth of good sightseeing places in India, whether you talk about beaches, you talk about temples, you talk about caves, you talk about anything, hill stations. So everything is there in India. I don't think there is any place in the world which can be as magnanimous as in India in providing those kind of facilities. And I travel globally. People love Indian food. People love Indians, and they have a lot of respect for India. So if we walk that 1 mile extra, we put something to them, okay, this dinner is hosted by us, you will be received at airport, because I have been traveling so many places, nobody receives you there at airport. So if you go 1 mile extra, you get received over there. You bring them a kind of a small garland, what we do, just tikka, all this kind of helps people. And that's the reason that my international faculty for last 10 years, 15 years, they are glued with us. Anytime I just send a mail and they say, yes, I'm coming. And they buy their ticket, we just provide local hospitality. So they know that they are guaranteed of a good medical meeting, they are guaranteed of a good hospitality, and we take care of their little bit sightseeing and this thing. So I think if we do that, probably we will attract people. It's not that, and moreover, total Europe and total America, or I don't say Canada, but America and Europe is totally gone in COVID. For next 3-4 years, they will not come up. So it's the best chance for India to market us heavily and get those people, because I have been seeing a lot of mails coming that such and such international conference in Berlin is cancelled, here it is cancelled. Only Canada, Montreal or Australia they are holding. Otherwise, nowhere else they are doing any international events or conferences. And despite vaccination, because of these strains changing, there will be some problems in Europe and America, and their economy is now down. So I think we should encash that situation. I don't say that it's a good thing to see that somebody is in problem, but if they are in problem, it is not created by us. We should encash that.
Thank you, Dr. Gilada. And one more very interesting question for Ms. Barar. What kind of incentive have been planned to boost MICE business in India by MOT, MEA, and MOH? And I think MOT, MEA, MOH need to work together. And recently with the JS Tourism, Mr. Rakesh Verma and ICPB has worked on India MICE Advantage program, where ministry is very seriously considering, as Dr. Gilada is suggesting, something to do the various MICE Advantage program and various incentive to the MICE industry. Can you elaborate on that, Ms. Barar?
Yes, I think, Amrish, all of you have been working very closely with my colleague Rakesh, and things will unfold as time goes by. And the need to work very closely with MEA goes without saying, because if we are really looking at expanding India's footprint in terms of people coming from overseas, the rollout that is happening in terms of the changes being done in the champion sector scheme, I think you're aware of that, on how the support can be created. That's an important segment. And creating the promotional avenues and creating more B2B events is going to be much required. As I already mentioned at the beginning, it's going to be a competitive world when it reopens sort of post-pandemic. And we will have to put forth a very strategic and cogent promotional strategy, both in terms of the campaign, so to say, but also creating a confidence in the people who are potentially interested in coming into India, that India is truly geared. And so I think that that's an important part that we see ourselves playing at.
Thank you, ma'am. And Girish has joined. Girish has some family issues, so he was not able to join earlier. And my next question to Girish Kotra is Secretary ICPB, and he's also a leading PCO. So Girish, my question to you, Indian PCO need bidding support to bid for international events. One option is bidding support, create a bidding support with the government of India and ICPB. In another option, privately, we can have those things. So how the PCO supported internationally, if you can share some role model, and how are you assessing the status of the PCOs around the world during this tough time, and how the Global Trade Buyer Association view Indian MICE sector? What are the lessons for Indian policy from that? Girish, over to you.
Thank you, Amrish. Thank you for pulling it so well till now. Sorry, couldn't patch in before. Thank you all the panelists for giving your comments. And of course, I'm sure a lot of speakers before me have shared their thoughts on the similar lines. But Amrish, I'd like to start with this, that, we are always talking about what PCO needs from the country in terms of building the conference. I think that the whole thought process needs to change. The whole alignment needs to change. The thought should be that it is the country's bid. It is not a PCO's bid. It's not a bid of any association. For example, referring to a classic example, of course, taking advantage of the fact that Dr. Gilada is here. He represents the AIDS State of India. And of course, he's on the international board of the International AIDS Society also. And I, of course, we've worked with him. And of course, many other people in the country have worked with him. So the thought is that Dr. Gilada goes and bid for a conference, and PCO like me or maybe you we support him for getting the bid to the country. So the thought is that, we try and get a bid to the country. But I think the whole alignment has to change. It is the country who has to bid on behalf of the association. Giving a classic example of Melbourne, of course, a very prominent city in Australia. So Melbourne, when Melbourne goes to bid for a conference, then Melbourne is represented by the mayor of Melbourne. So it is actually the city or the country bidding for the conference, rather than the association or the PCO bidding for a conference. The whole thought process has to change. In case that changes, I think a lot of things come on a platter automatically. We've been talking about opening gala dinners from the government. We've been talking about maybe free Delhi Metro pass for the conference, a dinner in the monument, as been talking before. I think all those things would come on a platter if government goes and bid for a conference. I'm sure Rupinder can add to this. She, of course, has been instrumental in many of the seminars like this and past meetings also. So in case somebody, a bureaucrat like Mr. Rupinder Barar goes and bid for a conference, or Mr. Rakesh Verma goes and represents a delegation from India with the PCO and the Indian Association, the whole dynamics will change. So this is the international best practices happening. The PCOs and the Indian and the, of course, respective associations are accompanied by the leader of the particular country. Could be a tourism leader, could be a health leader if it's a health conference, could be, of course, somebody from the Home Affairs, External Affairs to get the bid for the conference, to ease the visa process. I remember a very classic example of Dubai Convention Bureau bidding for a meeting. Therein, of course, the Home Affairs and External Affairs were bidding for the meeting. They made the visa complimentary. Immediately, they made the visa complimentary for all the attending faculties for the meeting. So that made the whole change. And of course, they got the bid. So I think the whole thought process needs to change. That is, I think, Amrish, first answer to your question.
Thank you, Girish. And my next question to Mr. Dhananjay Singh. What we had seen during this COVID time, the most of the job losses happened in the second gender, that is a women's, lots of women lost the job during this time, and that's become a trend in, I think, all sector, and MICE also got affected to this. So how you say this gender equality is important, because MICE has always had a very high ratio of gender equality, and women participation in terms of the leadership role is very high. You can see the two leading ladies are leading this MICE industry, Ms. Barar and Ms. Dubey is already here. So how you see this gender equality role, and how you see this Women's Signatory, UN Women's Signatory campaign help the MICE business in India to position themselves and create more credibility to the MICE in India? Mr. Singh.
Girish, first of all, I would like to say, Girish, thank you so much for sharing your views also. And we fully echo your point of view. Now, coming to your point of view, Amrish, women in tourism sector, there is a huge, big contribution. And whenever we have done our roundtables with you and with all of you, and we have also realized that there is immense potential which is there. Job losses are there, and no one can deny it, because how long you can pull, you have to pay salaries, you have to take care of other things which are there to run a business. So certainly, and there are job losses. There are job losses as far as women are also concerned. I'm only thinking that more and more people should come forward and join such initiatives, because UN Women's Success also, the complete formation has been done only to promote the welfare of women, whether it is through second chance education, whether it is through skilling or anything else. So when we are talking about this, I'm sure that the pent-up demand which is there, whether it is corporate or it is institutional or it is individual, there is, Amrish, there is no doubt or second thought about it. Once we are able to establish ourselves as a safe player in this business, things will bounce back very quickly, and women will certainly be a very important part of it. That's one. Second, I have realized that consciously, somewhere we are not counting how many women are there. If you see the Khajuraho discussions also, when we were there for that program, nobody was having that data, whether the state government or the other people who were there, nobody was having data that how many women are employed in that sector or this industry in particular. So somewhere, if, and all of such tall leaders are here, as participants, as speakers. I'm sure that once we put our focus that, okay, we have to employ women, there is a very strong business case. There is no doubt about it, having women in the workforce. And I'm sure it will further step up the process and inclusion of women in the workforce. So their ability to contribute, their contribution, and that contribution having business sense needs no selling. In fact, what we need is a positive step is to include them in the workforce. That's it.
Thank you, Dhananjay ji, and thank you all the panelists. And now I pass on to Mrs. Madhu Dubey, Executive Director, ICPB, to make her concluding remarks. Madhu ji, over to you.
Thank you very much, Amresh ji. This was, I think, one of the most informative sessions that we have seen over the last couple of months, when there was more of a sense of gloom and dismay. And now to see such optimism, sharing the expert views, which brought out a new sense of a fight that we have been through, and we are emerging victorious, hopefully very soon. May I just like to thank Amresh ji for moderating such an informative session, for such a thought-provoking session. And a big thank you to our expert panel, Mrs. Rupinder Barar, Mr. Girish Quatra, Dr. Dhananjay Singh, and Dr. Ishwar Gilada, for your expert views on the subject, India as a MICE destination. A big thank you to all our participants who have joined in from across the globe and India. It was wonderful having you, and we look forward to your feedback and interaction. These kind of sessions to engage with the industry will be a continuous part of ICPB's efforts in keeping the industry together to come out of this pandemic stronger with our spirits high. But before we conclude, Amresh ji, I would request you to please present the certificates of appreciation to our esteemed panel. We'll just put on screen the certificates for Mrs. Rupinder Barar. Abhishek, may I have the certificate on screen?
Abhishek.
Certificates, please, on screen.
Abhishek, can you please share the screen, please?
Yes, sir. I'm sharing.
Okay, Abhishek. Okay.
Is this certificate to travel anywhere in India?
Yes.
I wish, doctor, I wish.
That's, you will give us this certificate. And your vaccine passport is a great idea. And we are working on this with the government, sir.
You should fight for getting vaccination, huh? Because everyone blames the hospitality industry, they are not giving them vaccine. So this is ridiculous, double standard.
And very important, Dr. Gilada, I think the vaccination should be, of course, some priority for the hospitality, because that we are the meeting hub, So everybody feels safe there.
Yeah, thank you, speakers. And,
I fully
sending you the certificate individually very soon. And thank you very much for joining. And thank you all the participants for joining, all the attendees asking the question. Thank you, the ICPB staff, and thank you, speakers. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so very much, everybody. On behalf of ICPB, thanks a lot. Thank you, Amrish, for putting it so well. It's a grand success, Amrish. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you indeed. And best wishes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dhananjay ji. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
I can't see the moderator certificate, Madhuji. We should have moderator certificate also.
सबसे पहले तो वही था.
अच्छा था, okay, I missed out.
Thank you.
Thanks.